All right, and we should be live. Let me go ahead and check. It says we are, so
Yep, looks like we are.
awesome. All right, and I'll get this all set up and yeah, there we are. Awesome. All right, so yeah, hello everyone, Ace here. Welcome to the live stream. Today we are of course back. I'm joined today with returning guest Asmogan.
Hello.
It's been a while since we've had you on, but of course it's always a pleasure to have you on.
It's a pleasure to be back. I'm glad I have the free time to do it now.
Agreed. And today we are going to be back with some more Star Wars The High Republic. Issue number 8, they also released issue number 9 just today, just dropped on here, so. But we'll see how issue 8 goes. And
See how miserable it is to get through this one.
yeah, I've already told Osmogan a little bit about some of the stuff that's in the plot. Or
Yeah, I
says,
also, in preparation for the stream, I also skimmed issues 1 through 7. I didn't retain too much of it. I got the gist of it. They're in Space Jerusalem. It's pretty much everything you already told me and have showed me.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Or says, and today will be the day Osmogon remembers why he nearly blasted his computer the last time he had to read something with Ace. A great day indeed. Welcome to Osmo. Also, hi Ace the Torturer. Don't lie, Osmo. This comic is anything but a pleasure.
No, the comics are never a pleasure. Well, except for the Sister of Battle one we read. That was the only time I think I enjoyed the comic, but it's always good to be on with Ace.
I will say this: there has been at least one High Republic comic that so far I have actually had to go out and say is actually decent, and that's The Blade.
The Blade.
Yeah, High Republic The Blade is actually good. Amazingly.
I could safely assume it's not written by Cavan Scott or Captain
No.
Scott.
Nope, neither written by neither him nor Daniel Jose Older. It's written by someone
What
else.
do you know?
I think it's written I think that one was written by Charles Soule, I think, which was the guy that made the Eye of the Storm comic.
Yep, Charles Soule. I just looked it up right here.
And then there's another comic that's made by that's just started that so far is showing promise, and it was written by the same guy that made Will of Iron for Warhammer 40K.
So it should be decent.
Yeah. So, anyways, though, but let's go ahead and get into this comic and see what Cavan Scott wants to do now.
Indeed.
The High Republic, Battle for the Force. Chapter 3, Dunes of Blood. The holy city of Jeddah is being torn apart brick by brick. Pilgrims riot in the streets while Republic forces tackle Enforcer droids programmed only to kill. Jedi Vildar Mac, Padawan Maddie Catholi, and their Steffi associate Tesserac have thrown themselves on the mercy of infamous tap bar owner and information broker Cradon Minst. Reluctantly, Cradon has agreed to shelter members of the Path of the Open Hand, injured in the crossfire, meaning that Enlightenment itself has come under attack. As they shelter in Cradon's fortified tavern, Jedi Olivier Zeveron calls for help, out in the desert. The ancient statue of a Jedi has come crashing to the ground, a statue that secretly contained a lost Jedi vault. The mysterious raiders who have been ransacking Jeddah's temples have entered the archive, taking Jedi representative Liban with them, but not before leaving Olivier for dead. So yeah, that pretty much summarizes everything, although I should mention, the Enlightenment they're talking about that has come under attack, that's the name of the tavern, so...
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I thought that was a weird sentence, but if it's a location, then yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyways, the Dunes of Contemplation, Jeddah. Alright, so I think I had my guest voicing Vildar, so that'll be you voicing Vildar Mac, and I guess I'll voice Olivier here.
Okay.
Vildar!
Olivia, please respond.
Enlightenment Tap Bar, Jeddah City. Vildar, this changes things, right? We need to help them, especially if whatever's happened...
Yes, you're right.
Just...
Do you want me to...
Yeah, go ahead and voice this character.
Just wait a minute. You promised Cradon you'd protect Enlightenment.
You, only Matty and I will go. Take and look after everyone here.
Tesseract, you'd leave us in the hands of that degenerate.
Where is the sly Sephi anyway?
That Cradon is an excellent question. He's gone.
Gone? Gone where, Camille?
I'm Delphine.
Sorry, but the question still stands. I thought there was no way out of the bar once Cradon's energy field was operational.
No way except this.
So they just have a convenient exit hole in the back.
And at no point did they tell them, hey, we have a convenient exit hole in the back. Until now.
It's almost like it didn't exist until the writer needed to progress the story.
Oh.
Okay then.
Kevin Scott strikes again.
I will say this is a trope that sometimes I like, but often it's been so used I'm starting to dislike it. The bar HQ with like a secret way out. So many like different genres and films and stories, like with Rebels and stuff, always have this kind of establishment. And I've always questioned why it has to always be a bar with a secret exit in the back.
My guess is it would be a reference to speakeasies from the 20s. Maybe?
Probably. I mean, I know that's why there was... I think one of the Godfather films had the same thing in it. If not one of the Godfather films, I definitely know one of the films in reference to the 1920s... the ban on alcohol. I'm blanking on the name. But
Prohibition?
Yes, thank you. I don't know why that was so hard for my memory to come back to, but I know that a lot of like films based in that time had this trope, and I know that's probably where it started. But it feels weird to see it in Star Wars in this circumstance.
Also, that is the worst hidden secret exit of all time. All it is just behind a curtain.
Yeah, and the barrels aren't even in front of it.
And it's not even got a cover or anything.
Nope, it's just... There it is! Actually, it kind of looks like a trash chute. Well, it might be the angle.
Let me read some of the comments here. Uro says, yes, the blade is, very surprisingly, a good one. Still confuses me that we found such a thing. And while the battle rages on, people seek shekels. Yeah, that's another thing. Zekels are the currency in this planet. Uru says, oh yes, the last one ended with someone dying. Exactly how we all felt reading this comic. Tehedora says, top tier voices. Thank you very much. Uru says, it is in a need-to-know basis, as in the audience needs to know I pulled something out of my ass now.
Correct.
Exactly.
Modern writing. All right. Next page.
All right, so I guess that's... Wow, they really screwed up how to write a panel, because... Okay, so you're going to have to read from a character that's only shown on the second panel, and I'm going to read from the character on the first panel.
That is a weird way to do that. Okay.
Delphine, the existence of that tunnel is privileged information. This is...
What do you mean Okay, never mind.
This is a sackable offense.
Where does it lead?
Out to the desert a smugglers run from when the Jedi governed the city. I barely use it these days.
But Tay knew it was here.
He wasn't supposed to, but I see he put his scout droid to work while we were occupied, the little scamp. And by scamp I mean pile of steaming Trithon excrement.
Beep. So we could use the tunnel to get the wounded out of Enlightenment.
If you want to risk being buried alive, the passageway is hardly that what you'd call structurally sound. And then there's the vermin.
Vermin? What kind of vermin?
The real question we should all be asking is why Tay decided to skedaddle when he did.
He heard Olivier, of course.
And wanted to help her, yes?
Why else would he go? Maybe because you're surrounded and besieged by an angry mob.
Yeah, like, why else would he want to escape his death trap? I can't possibly imagine why. Okay.
Yes. Why else would a known thief slip away seconds after learning about a lost Jedi archive in the middle of the desert?
He actually brings up another reason.
Is this okay?
Alright. Tehedora says, Jesus Christ, that green alien is ugly. Yes. I mean, a little bit, but Asmogan, or Ura says, Asmogan nearly went, what the fuck are you saying? I'm not sure where that's in reference to, but okay. Tehedora says, a face only a mother could love, maybe. Ura says, you said a mother, not a saint. And Gang Crew says, death to every individual with... Okay.
That's a bit extreme. But okay.
Yeah, that's pretty extreme.
Probably Ukrainian.
Yeah, probably.
Or just a troll.
Could be either or. Tehedor says, fair. Whatever could it mean? So I was voicing this guy, and I gave him the 90s teen with an attitude voice. You know exactly what that is.
Yes, I do.
Stop mithering, you overblown bauble. I know what I'm doing.
At least fitting. That's all good.
Yeah, at least I hope I know what I'm doing. Scritch, scritch. Yes, I know what it sounds like, and yes, I've heard the stories of dune scratchers. But they're just rats. We've dealt with rats before. Lots of rats.
What the fuck? That's okay. If the scaling they gave in the previous page is correct, those rats are bigger than he is.
I mean, to be fair... Womp rats have been established as a thing on Tatooine, and those things are pretty large as well.
Right. I don't know how I feel about these just being called rats, though. Like that.
Agreed.
That's very strange. Like they're not given any kind of unique name. They're called just rats. It kind of takes a little bit of the alien Xenos kind of vibe to it.
Mm. How much of a problem can they be?
I wonder.
Dang! Forget I asked. Well, that's just rude. He didn't even... I don't even think he shot at even a single one of them.
No, in fact, in the first panel of page 9, he's just holding... Wait, what the hell is with the gun? Why has it got those two side blade things?
I think it's supposed to be some sort of crossbow. Or bowcaster, maybe.
So they're trying to minimize the crossbolts that we know Chewie uses in the official series, in the original films. And they try to minimize it. It kind of seems like they just took Han's pistol and then took the two waves on the side and just called it good. They don't look like they serve a purpose.
Yeah, they don't.
Because the blade, if it was crossed out the other side, I could say it's a weird bayonet, right? Like stabbing something outward. But they're curved inward, and it looks like the thin side is towards the inner part. So the blunt side is what's facing outward. So it doesn't serve a purpose.
Uro says, some Wampa rats can get bigger than most dogs here on Earth. Others are as small as regular non-UK rats. If I remember correctly, Well, yeah, so it's 2 meters, right? They're about 2 meters in size.
I think.
So, and that's for a
Yeah,
normal one.
because Luke said that like we've had, if I recall correctly from the film, the original New Hope. That's why he said like taking a shot at the that small entrance on the Death Star, like he was counteracting somebody else. Said like, yeah, you can totally take that shot. Like, and then he said like, oh, you shoot at a Womp Rat from a certain number of meters, they're no more than 2 meters across. I think that's what that was referencing, but I could
2 meters would make it a lot larger than a dog, though. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, it might be referencing like maybe like where their nest size is. I don't know, I'd have to rewatch the scene.
I'm pretty sure it's talking about the Womp Rat individually, because they generally, from what I've seen, they're generally seen as pretty big. But I digress.
Right.
But there's probably small ones as well. So, all right. Anyways, zip. I am releasing my pheromone. The dumb brutes are just too stupid to realize I've won. There, that's better. Enjoy your nap, friends. Ah, I forgot about you. Time for bye-byes. Or not. That's unexpected. Also, I don't think... I mean, granted, this character is supposed to be a trickster, but the whole pheromone thing was... not something I was expecting.
Wait, is that new?
I don't think it was established that he's got pheromones. Or something like that.
Odd. So...
I know he temporarily stops the heart of Jedi Veldar Mac, but I don't think he used pheromones to do that earlier on, so...
Okay, then. Don't you ever stop talking.
Oh, Vildar, old pal. Old chum, aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
I wasn't joking, Tay. Shut up. Better now? All is calm. All is well. You want to be far from here, back in your nest. Wherever that may be. That's it. Back home. I really think you should kill them. Like, I'm sorry, but if they're an active threat in a exit way, call me inhumane, but if something risks human life or human equivalent life, to that scale, I feel like sending them back to their net is not a good idea. I get the vibe they're going for. It's like, oh, all life is sacred. For even Jedi know when to call pestilent species.
Uro says, you know what we need? We need Skaven. Skaven to stab him in the gut.
That would make it more entertaining.
Yes, it would. Can I speak now?
What are you doing here, Tay?
I take it that's a yes.
Kraydon thinks you're going for the treasure in the vault.
And what do you think?
I think you finally got this old dry deck to move.
Should we?
We're not hugging. Wait, what the fuck?
Okay.
Wait, what? I'm so confused. So there's the copy and paste panel they did from the third set down, where I don't think they made any differences. So, like, seriously, from panel from panel 4 to 5, it's a straight copy and paste.
I think they photoshopped him to give him a very mild-looking smile, but that's it.
I can't even... Oh, yeah, there's that slight shading difference. That is too subtle. Be honest. That is okay, but if that's supposed to imply something, they really didn't catch.
Oro says, they brought the refugees and everyone else in the sewers. Weren't they safe in the shielded building with supplies? Yeah, good point.
Oh my god, they did. They really brought everybody down there. Okay. Wait, didn't the insect lady warn them that those insects were down there? I mean, sorry, the rats were down there?
Yeah.
And they went anyway.
To be fair, they did have a Jedi Master scouting ahead and an apprentice covering them up front.
Fair.
And a good number of these guys are Force users anyways. And, oh yeah, the fact that this establishes that there's multiple Force religions as well, like the Path of the Open Hand and whatnot.
Right, well, we already knew that there were multiple Force worshipping like religions outside of the Jedi. The Sith are the other most prominent one, but Expanded Universe lore did have other Force users who practiced other faiths, but they're almost always associated with the light and the dark side, or finding a balance in between the two. I mean, if you also want to look at the Night Sisters, they also they practice faith in the Force. Theirs is more towards the dark side, but they have a more mystical aspect to it. It's more shamanistic.
I don't recall the Jedi being that, shall we say, friendly towards them, though, generally.
No, if you weren't a Jedi, the Jedi saw what you did as wrong, in terms of your practice of your faith. And the Sith didn't really like the Night Sisters either, but they saw them as a tool.
Yep. Alright, so let's go ahead and carry on.
Alright. Especially not in front of the others.
You persuaded Cradon to abandon Enlightenment? What do you think? He stayed behind with a very large gun. Enlightenment, staying behind with a very large gun.
Okay.
That is... I don't think Kevin Scott intended for that particular line to come off as based as it did.
Probably not, but I respect any landowner who's just like, yeah, y'all get out. I'm staying here.
Agreed.
I'm not going anywhere.
Alright. Were you voicing this guy?
I think you can go ahead and voice him.
Okay. What kind of voice?
Those droids seem particularly determined to get in. I doubt the energy field will last much longer.
A night in the desert seemed preferable, all things considered.
If we get there, the shelling is getting...
Boom. Shush. Vildar, get back!
And now they're trapped. Okay.
Oh,
You okay?
I'm fine. Thanks to you. Matty, are you there?
I'm here, Vildar. We're good. You can't... You know.
Lift the rubble? Not without risking another collapse. Matty, you're going to have to...
Go back. I know.
So now they are trapped.
So wait. They brought them down there. Kevin Scott brought these characters down there for absolutely no reason.
Pretty much. This achieved... I won't say this achieved nothing, because now we've established that this character, Tay, and the Jedi Master are going after... And this explains how they get out of there and how the plot progresses with them. There is a progress happening here, but an element of it certainly feels like a waste of time. Like having them all go down there and then just the tunnel collapse. So it's not a complete waste of time in the comic, but it certainly could have been done better.
It's only mostly a waste of time.
Yes.
Alright, let's go ahead and carry on, shall we?
Everything happens for a reason, Matty.
Kraton, won't you be able to hold the bar on his own? Not even with the Twinkle sisters. They need you.
But the survivors from the almshouse.
They need you too, which will be a challenge, but one you will rise to. Not just because you are strong in the Force, but because you're strong in spirit yourself. You proved it time and time again over the last few days, and you will prove it now.
Thank you. You're not too bad yourself for an old grump.
I'm working on that.
And I'm helping.
That's a matter of opinion.
Oh, the dialogue on this sometimes.
They're doing that same shit that they're doing in all Marvel films now, where you can't have a serious moment without something comical also being involved. They're therefore kind of robbing the moment of its seriousness, which is something I hate, and I hate to see it here, but it's not unexpected. I mean, at this point, the whole formula, especially with it being Marvel Comics, I'm pretty sure behind this, it doesn't surprise me that they're just replicating and copy and pasting what they think everybody loves to see so much.
Yeah, but they also are making this character sound like a Simpsons character. I'm helping!
Yeah, it's... Again, I hate what it does, because it makes serious moments ruined. But on top of that, in terms of the individual character impact, it makes every character look and feel insufferable, because they can't read the room. And they can't seem to take anything seriously, so therefore the audience, us, or the reader, us, can't take it seriously either. It's like, okay, you have this really intense moment where this really scary things are about to happen, so the audience should feel, by all accounts, that same seriousness and be like, okay, this is a moment of passion, this is a moment of proving oneself, this is going to be a character defining moment. Then you rob it of any level of seriousness or impact with quirky humor. So I hate it, but not surprised to see it here.
Alright, well, let's carry on.
Now go, while the structure holds.
Yes, Scoot, we're going to.
May the Union dwell in your heart, Master Jedi. And remember what you told me on the steps of the convocation. We're all allowed one bad day.
Wait, isn't that line isn't he referencing that line where the Jedi were murdering people and excusing it?
He was setting people on fire, and the Jedi Master was excusing it by saying we're all allowed a bad day.
So not only did Kevin Scott write it a terrible fucking line to justify a Jedi of all people going over the top with something sinister like that, but they're referencing back to it.
As if it's something to be cherished.
So Kevin Scott he can't even feign ignorance of that line because he made sure to reference it. What? It's so stupid.
Kevin Scott strikes again.
I swear to God, that guy has no concepts of morality or ethics, at all. All right.
Alright, let me read some of the comments here. Uro says, yeah, the average length of a comment womp is around 2 meters. You know what we need? Oh yeah, okay. They brought the refugees and everyone else into the sewers. Weren't they safe in the shielded building with supplies? So the Bugman was the smartest person in the room. Holy fucking shit, the insects are winning. And I bet that whatever happens with everyone else will be explained by, I pulled up bullshit out of my pocket, look at the pretty lights. I mean, they've already done that with the secret passage, but Rose says, I yearn for those days I thought official comics would never fall below the worst fan fiction levels I have ever seen. I was so young.
Youthful ignorance.
Yes. And Trehedora says, we're all allowed one bad day. Anakin Skywalker. Yeah! I made that exact joke when me and I think it was Alfarius first read that line in that earlier issue. You were
One
having
bad
a
day.
bad... Yeah. Yeah, Anakin... Yeah, Obi-Wan's standing over Anakin after he just cut him to pieces. You were having a bad day, Anakin!
Roll allowed one!
You're still having a bad day.
Oh my god. I swear, every time I see Kevin Scott's name on something, I'm just going to immediately, like... It makes, like, Kevin Scott's work make me, like, rethink my thoughts on book burning, which I think is wrong. But I might make it exception. Like, if I saw a book burning, I'd run up and be like, you all are a bunch of fucking... And they all stop me and go, it's Kevin Scott. I went, all right, hand me the next pile. Oh my God.
I'm kind of reminded of the story about that one cult that exists to do book burning, but for one specific video game. The game in question being Shaq Fu for the SNES.
Shaq Fu?
Yes, there is a SNES game called Shaq Fu, which is a fighting game starring Shaquille O'Neal. And apparently, it is such a notoriously bad game that there was a cult that came about that exists just to destroy every copy of Shaq Fu on Earth.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
Imagine that! I mean, hell, E.T. for the Atari 2600 didn't actually get a cult that called for its complete destruction.
No, it nearly tanked the industry.
Yeah. Wait, Oro says Shaq Fu, one of the worst fighting games ever, and surprise, surprise, it got a remake.
Hold on. Yep, Shaq Fu, PS4. Yep, there is a remake. It's also on the Switch.
The cult is growing stronger.
Now the cult's gonna get more members of a new generation.
Griffith says balls. So, yeah. To be fair, Turkish Star Wars got a sequel somehow, so...
Sold enough copies to people who misread the title on it. Alright. Saber's Grace.
What is it, Drydak? Oh, I see. Lying down on the job. Tsk. Some people never learn. Okay, you're either talking about the statue that was just blown up, or you're talking about the Jedi that got shish kebabbed and is now lying on the ground. Either way, that line is absolutely wow.
I think this character has been this annoying and insufferable the whole time.
I mean, this character has been annoying and insufferable, but that is a new low.
Yeah, that is... The thing is, that's not even really comic relief. At that point, you're just... Again, it's robbing what should... Like, take out... If you literally took out him saying that shit, and you just focused on this panel, didn't show the rest of the story or anything, that panel, by all accounts, should be, like, a big deal. A Jedi statue. Like, it should be similar to seeing the ruins of Coruscant. Like, a massive symbol to the Jedi Order. The greatest peacekeepers in the galaxy. A Jedi himself, a Jedi Master, who has spent his entire life espousing the religion and the belief of the Jedi and upholding the, at the time, or at a certain point, the Republic, sees before him a fallen testament to his order and his people. This should be... This would be like the residents of, I think it's Rio de Janeiro, with the giant statue of Jesus. It'd be like if someone knocked down that statue and someone of the faith who had lived there their entire lives and seen that every day saw it before them in rubble and ruins. and then some jackass tourist comes out of the wet work and says, "Wow, looks like Big J is going for a nap, guys." It's it's so shitty. It's just why do you write terrible characters?
It would be like taking the Lincoln Monument, tearing it down, and then having some asshole go, I guess he's sleeping on the job again.
Yeah, it's just
that's exactly what it would be like.
The gravitas, everything that should be there, the seriousness, the weight is gone. It's just gone. There's a time and place for comic relief, and it's not during a serious moment. If you want that serious moment to have any kind of staying power.
Agreed. And also, very next panel, they see the body of the Jedi of Jedi Olivier as well. So, wonder if this guy's going to talk about her sleeping on the job or something too. Oh well.
Let's see. Not the time, Tay.
Yeah, exactly. But holy fuck, so very much not the time.
Can someone have told Caven Scott that when he was writing it? Like, just come in, read over his shit, and go, "Hey, Scott, not the time." Fucking A.
Criff, sorry. When you're right, you're right. Well, if you agreed with that so quickly, then why the hell did you make the joke in the first place?
Because he's a jackass.
Yeah.
God damn it. I'm officially labeling him Jar Jar Jr. At least Jar Jar was just stupid. This guy's stupid and obnoxious.
At least you have the Darth Binks theory when it comes to Jar Jar. And I am convinced that was actually going to be a thing, by the way.
Oh yeah, so am I. I've seen the full breakdown of the evidence. Even the voice actor, he said something akin to when the theory was first being pressed around on the internet and stuff. Like, yeah, I agree with that. Olivia,
you came. Liban is inside the statue. Tried to put myself in a healing trance, but the pain, too much. That doesn't matter. Vildar can mind trick you to sleep, right? Keep you safe for the night?
It doesn't work like that.
Well, we can't leave her like this.
We won't have to. You can do it.
Me? How? The ancient rite? But that was a trick, remember?
But your people's pheromones aren't. I saw it in the tunnel where the dune scratches. Wait, okay, hold on, pause. So, you stand by that they just established the pheromones, right?
I'm pretty sure they just established the pheromones.
Alright, so going off of that being the assumption, if we're wrong, we're wrong. But if they just established, so not only have they just established the convenient tunnel that magically allows them to escape the bar that they didn't establish before at all, but now they're also magically establishing these pheromones that are now going to be the magic MacGuffin to save this Jedi Master from dying.
You know what? Let me double check and make sure that... I'm pretty sure it would have been issue 2. So I'm going to check issue 2 real quick, because that was where we can find out. Alright, so let's go check here. Okay, so they did actually say a pheromone. You know what? I'll take that back. I still think it's a...
Okay.
But it's one little throwaway line like that. Okay, so, I will actually take that back.
Okay. And I will take my criticism back too. So if it was priorly established and it's not all done one this issue, I'm not going to criticize as much. because they did establish it to be there, and it was pre-thought out into the writing. It wasn't just thrown in there to be a MacGuffin. So, okay.
Does not excuse the whole we're all out a bad day line, though. That was also
No, that's
thought
still
out.
bullshit. Or the insufferability of this knife is.
Yes.
You can slow her heart, buy us time.
I could also kill her. She's weak. Whatever you're going to do, do it fast. Liban needs you. Just don't haunt me if this goes wrong. I promise. Find Liban, Vildar, save. And away she goes. I hate this character.
He's such an insufferable dickwad. Why does every goddamn modern Marvel product have to have the most insufferable fucking asswads as the comic relief? Why?
You stay here, Scoot. Zap anyone who comes near her. Do you hear?
The Force will protect her.
As long as it protects us too. This is unbelievable.
It's more than that. The dark side is strong here. Almost overwhelming.
The dark side? Inside an effigy of a Jedi Knight? That doesn't sound good.
It's not. We need to find Liban. Discover what this place truly is. Perhaps if the Force wills it, I can...
Vildar, what's wrong? Ugh!
Happening again, just like Olivia said.
Hey, back up, bit guy. I'm not feeling so clever myself.
Hey, look, we're getting to look on what the character's personality looks like in drawn form.
Yeah!
Oh
But we need to keep our voices down. There's no telling who...
Worth, I think we've found it.
Show me.
That voice, I know it.
Alright, you want to take green, and I'll take the Slanesh.
Oh, it's Space Alex Jones.
Wait, which one's the green guy?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I guess I don't know how my Alex Jones impersonation is, because I've never done one before.
I don't think I can do one. I could try, though.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay, go ahead.
The Rod of Daybreak. That's not very good, but you go ahead and voice the Slanesh character, I guess.
About time. I never want to see another archive again.
You won't need to. Not now. The Rod of Seasons. Give it to me. Yes, just as Mother foretold. But will it work? Will it control the creature?
And I was joking, but that straight up is the symbol of Slanesh, I think.
Yeah.
Let me check, just to be absolutely sure. But that looks identical. Yeah, it's got that crescent moon blade aspect. Yeah, that's straight up a Slanesh symbol. Okay.
I think we found out why the Jedi turned evil.
Yep, they were worship.
They got corrupted.
They're corrupted by chaos.
No wonder in High Republic Adventures, people were referring to Jedi as agents of chaos. I thought with the buckets of blood that they were going to be corn worshippers, but no. Nope. Turns out it's a different chaos god.
Yep. One that still likes blood, but likes to really slowly get it out of you.
Aura says, Rod of Seasons, Rod of Awakening is that? What is this fucking? Yeah, that too. I mean, the Oracle of Seasons and the Oracle of Ages. Yeah, I remember that. Dragoness Wolford says, yes, it is copyright. Get GW over here to sue Disney.
No,
You
just
know,
on you. They're owned by Disney.
you know that they would too. That's the funny thing. GW would absolutely sue Disney.
Oh yeah, they would. They would try for sure, and they would lose. But it would be a fascinating, like two of the most malignantly greedy companies of all time hashing it out in court. That would be amazing.
Someone get the popcorn. I'm actually curious. I'm actually considering sending an email to GW to go, hey, look, just because I want to see that.
It may not even get to court though, because I know that GW has like a contract with Marvel Comics for like the Scissors of Battle comic.
Wait
and
a
for
sec,
the
let me
Calgar
check
comic,
something.
so.
Yeah, okay, this one is Marvel. Because I know some of the comics aren't Marvel that they've been doing, but anyways.
All right. If it wasn't Marvel, I would say yeah, there's definitely a suit there, but I'm pretty sure their contract extends to like references. I could be wrong. So they might be it might be just it might be like an Easter egg front, because Caven Scott also wrote. Didn't he write the? No, I don't think he did the Calgar comic. I'm pretty sure
Now,
I'm wrong on
someone
that.
someone else did that.
Yeah,
But he
hold
did
on.
do Warhammer Adventures.
Yes, he did, which was horrendous bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah, Kieran Gillen did that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tehedor says, fight, fight, fight. Yeah. Dragonus says, I would love to see that lawyer battle. Yokai says, the worst chaos god. I mean,
GW.
Korn is at least straight in your face about it. That is something.
Yeah, there's no gray area with Korn.
Yeah. Then again, I'd have to say, between the two worst ones, it would be a toss-up between either Slanesh or Nurgle. I'm going to have to lean towards Slanesh being the slightly eviler one.
If I look at Slanesh through the lens of the Jakari, definitely. If I look at Nurgle through the lens of the Death Guard, it's hard because with Nurgle, he doesn't necessarily pain is inflicted through his diseases, but it's not his goal. His goal is life, essentially, just everlasting life and the production of life, which is life through like cancerous cells, tumors, horrible lesions, and festering boils. It's there's a lot of pain involved unless you're his direct worshippers like the Death Guard, which are spared the pain aspect of it.
Mm.
So I'd say Slanesh probably overall is worse.
Yeah, agreed. Oro says, look, Cthulhu. Oh, yeah, that too.
What the fuck? Yeah, there's a Cthulhu monster there.
Mm. Dragonus says, but it's still 100% a Slanesh symbol in the hands of a Slanesh priest.
I mean, those tentacles might have a whole new aesthetic to them once that context is provided.
Oh, dear. Nathan X2000 says, hey, Asmo, can I consider this as a reaction?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. Let's go ahead and actually carry on. What creature? What is he talking about? What's going on here?
It's the Herald. The Herald of the Path. He sparked the riot at the square of the penitents. You're right, Tay. It was all linked. All a distraction.
Bring the Jedi.
Worth, are we sure about this?
We need a test subject. You know the mother will demand it. The leveler must feed. What in the void's name is that?
I guess I'll do this guy.
Please, no, for the love of the Force.
This is a Jedi Master, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this character is a Jedi Master.
Is that the Lee bum that was mentioned before?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Why else do you think we are doing this, Jedi? The Force will be free.
Okay. The Slanesh jokes at this point are just fact. Like it's going for his throat. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
To be continued. Okay.
So Ur says tentacle does mean Slanesh too. Yokai says Nurgle makes suffering by existing. Slanesh intentionally causes pain, suffering, so he can pleasure himself. Yeah, that's all. At least you could, as evil as the Drukhari are, at least you could argue that it's their means of sustenance. Though they are still, let's be honest, they're also doing it for shits and giggles, so that's not really much of a defense.
True. I mean, that's the thing is a lot of people who are like pro Drukhari, like fans in the fan base, will often bring that up as like a defense, like, oh, the Drukhari are only doing all this debaucherous shit and this hedonistic shit because they just don't want to get eaten by Slanesh and they want to satiate Slanesh. But they leave out the context that before Slanesh even was brought forth into existence, they were already doing this shit en masse.
Yep.
They're just doing what they were already doing. Now they just have to. Suppose where they chose to.
Yeah. And let's be honest, they still do it to an excess even then.
Yeah, they don't do it just enough to satiate Slanesh. They do more than enough.
Yeah. Why? Because, in their own words, why not? Also, next issue, should we read the next issue now? Because the Marvel comparisons are,
I mean, I'm totally down to read the next one if you want.
Alright, you see the front page of the next one? Or the front cover?
Yes. Thanos, anybody?
Yeah. Behold the hand of Cybirus.
Alright, so Tay's haircut changed right there, and so did his outfit, and for some reason he's got the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Okay.
The crackling with the power of the dark side.
Dragonis Wolford says, Evil Elf again. Yes. The High Republic. Battle for the Force. Chapter 4. The Hand of Cybirus. As Jeddah burns, Padawan Mate Cathale protects Kradan besiege Enlightenment Tapbar from an Enforcer droid attack. Meanwhile, Vidar Mak and Tesseract have entered the secret Jedi Vault in the ruins of the great statue that once stood in Jeddah's cold desert. Here, the unlikely allies have discovered that the recent troubles have all been a smokescreen to hide Worthplouth's search for a fabled artifact known as the Rod of Daybreak. Now, with the combined rods of power in his hand, the Herald of the Path of the Open Hand fully controls the creature known only as the Leveler, a creature capable of striking fear into the heart of any Force user, a creature that has begun to feed. Yokai says, and that's why Slanesh will never die, because the Drukhari doesn't know the word stop.
They don't have a concept for a safe word, or if they did, they completely forgot the safe words.
Exactly. The Drukhari's motto could, in a nutshell, be summarized as, why not?
Pretty much.
Uru says, to Trehedora says, he snaps his fingers and 50% of the script that wasn't as shit turns even worse. Tehedora says, Elf Thanos and the gems of bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Yokai
Actually,
says,
in all seriousness, I do think that Tay might be a self-insert for Caven Scott. Simply off of personality, because he's just so insufferable. And that's how I imagine Caven Scott is 24/7.
yeah. The Secret Jedi Vault. Jeddah. Alright, so I think that's your character.
Okay. Worth, that's enough. We've seen enough.
Enough! Yana, this is only the beginning.
Why? We know the Rod of Power works. We know we can control that thing.
Do we? I'm not so sure. Vildar, do me a favor and pull yourself together, huh? Please I don't know what's happening, but I think I'm seeing things. I hope I'm seeing things. Please tell me I'm seeing things. Thanks, character. This attempt at humor is, exactly.
Shit.
Yeah. Are you even listening?
No.
Well, it's an answer, not the one I was looking for, but I'll take it. How about we try another? What in the name of all things luminous is that monstrosity? You know that at least, right?
I know nothing, Tay. Nothing at all.
Kinda like Kevin Scott. Are you sure Vildar Mack isn't the self-insert here?
Possibly. They might all have elements of his shittery.
Adam Wolford says, no, the real Chaos God is the rat. At both Asmogan and myself.
Is the rat. Which one's the rat in this case?
You know, the rats from the tunnel.
Oh, those ones.
But I'm not going to really... Alright, let's go ahead and carry on. Helpful. Cheers. As is this thing. Stupid Criffing's Dune Scratcher. Beep, beep, beep. Now what? Yes,
That Marta?
we do. That is interesting. Thank you for the information.
Was that Marta?
We have company.
Where?
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So it actually went off just as... Well, that's convenient, but you know what? Compared to the other stuff, I'll let that bit slide.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I can't tell if it's fixed now when he says, oh, thank you very much, or if he's being sarcastic and it's still broken.
I'm going to go with still broken, but I digress.
Yeah.
I believe that answers your question. Shia Barkov, deal with it. Cheek, who are you calling it? Click, click. Oh, scrap. So he just throws it at him.
You just throw the gun. Okay. Alright, crack.
Thumb. Crash. Ugh. Seeing this character get his ass beat feels good, man.
Called catharsis. Or schadenfreude.
Mm-hmm. I could really do with some saber twirling right about now. What do you say, Vil, old pal, old mate? Vil? No? Well, that's just peachy. Ah, will everyone stop hitting me? No!
Please continue.
Ooh, what do we have here? Should pack quite the punch.
Wait, hold on. So he just finds, like, this sinister magical artifact? Just, like, behind... while he's getting his... What? Okay. The pheromone thing may not have been some random MacGuffin they pulled out of that. This is... What in the hell? Just conveniently on the floor. There's this Infinity Gauntlet.
And at no point did none of the other guys that were there first notice it.
Yeah, and they'd been there a while.
And they were looking for precious, rare artifacts.
Oh my god. That is a MacGuffin, or a McMuffin, whatever you want to call it.
Ura says, the only dangerous thing in this comic is its script, and the 7 people that worked on it. Yeah! Ura says, I still remember that part from 2 weeks ago when I was the one reading, and I am vindicated, yes.
You know, comics like this are why you should never write by committee.
Mm-hmm. I suppose we should be thankful that Kevin Scott didn't do something a bit more, shall we say... He didn't go push further into the whole Space Jerusalem thing as he did more. Because that would, yeah, that could probably go very badly very quickly.
Yeah, I guess even for him, that was a step too far into the risque category. Even though the rest of this ain't any better.
Although we still have one issue left after this, so...
Yeah, 10 issues of this thing, Jesus.
Yeah. Anyways, let's carry on. Should pack quite the punch, and then some. Hello, gorgeous. Fraz.
Oh my god, hold on. He looks like the fucking Joker in that.
He does! Okay, someone should let DC know so they can get in on this lawsuit. Disney is going to have to deal with both GW and DC.
Jesus Christ. Like, I'm going back between the last panel of page 9 and going back to that. It's just, what the hell?
I used to think Tay Surik's life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Tehedora says, you jinxed it, Ace.
Oh my fucking god.
Where have you been all my life? Kraz. Ura says the Y just keeps getting worse.
Yep. Yes, it does. Yeah.
I think you got another line there.
Oh, hey, no! It kind of looks like Raziel from Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver 2.
Mm-hmm.
At least in that shot. This isn't just a vault. It's a Bogan collection. Relics from the dark side. That's why Libon was hiding its existence. Why no one knew it was here. It will destroy you! Okay, give credit where credit due. I do like that shot. Like that sinister, and it's very, although the problem is it's still, this isn't a very dark side feeling, like Star Wars aesthetic anyway. It's dark side feeling panel. Mm-hmm. That feels like a 40K Chaos Corruption kind of image right there.
Yeah, it does.
Like the aesthetic of it, like Darkseid has always been like literally very dark, very red, very malicious. This one's more chaotic in the literal sense, like all the individual faces mixed in and the randomness. Yeah, that feels very 40K. Like I don't know what's going on with this comic, but it seems like their interpretation of the Darkseid is very different from the established one. It's more like a malignant warp-like force in this version as opposed to its traditional form.
Yokai says, Joker Jack that is converted to Slanesh cult. Uru says, no, it is shit and there is lightning. Dragonus says, is that Sith lightning? Okay, so that's what he's responding to.
Yep.
Tehedora says, why so serious? Snap fingers.
Why so serious?
Snap.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
It's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
We live in a society. Anyways, let's carry on.
Destroy us all.
Thunk.
Harold, the Sephi isn't alone.
So my informant was correct. We have another Jedi in our midst. And the Leveler ours to command. And with the Leveler ours to command, another Jedi means only one thing. Another husk. The energy... Alright, so I think that's going to be you voicing the Path the Open Hand guy.
Okay.
The energy field won't last long.
Agreed, Camille. Oh, no, wait, that's Camille. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Agreed, Camille. But I'm sure Tarna and yours truly can handle things here.
I wish I shared your confidence, Matty.
You should help your sister protect the wounded in the bar. Cradon told me to stay with you. Enlightenment, Jeddah City. To keep an eye on us? To make sure you don't do anything foolish. Do anything, Jedi. Meaning foolish? It's not for me to say. Well, then why have you watch her if you can't even make a judgment call on that?
Yeah, that's strange. I'm trusting you to watch her, to not do anything foolish.
Okay.
Can you recognize her doing something foolish? It's not for me to say. What?
Dragonus says, that's not how any artifacts work.
That's
Good,
true.
yeah, good point.
They usually don't give the... that's another... that's a very good point to address on. When it comes to, like, artifacts and, like, the influences of the Force, it's often shown in the Star Wars mythos that like, you can't give non-Force users suddenly the ability to conduct, like, Force light. Like, the tools and stuff of the ancient Jedi and ancient Sith, and even the non-Sith and Jedi religions and faiths, they don't work like that. Like, they can't. Force sensitivity is just that important in this setting. The only individuals that could use those artifacts are those with Force sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
So unless Tay is Force sensitive and never knew it, he shouldn't be able to create Force lightning even with some magically imbued gauntlet. Now, if the gauntlet's imbued with some kind of special Kyber crystal, it should allow a normal Sith user or Darkside user who can already create lightning to make more powerful lightning if it was some kind of conductor. But the energies or the powers of the Force are only ever accessible to those with the sensitivity to it. That's why being Force sensitive is so critical in this setting.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a massive deviation from the Lucas established lore.
It'll be interesting if Lucas does actually regain control of the IP.
Yeah, and my biggest fear is if he did, but he was still forced to somehow incorporate all of this as canon. I don't know. I wouldn't envy that position. That would suck.
But if he didn't have to acknowledge this as canon, I have a feeling it would be kind of like the Emperor waking up from the Golden Throne and seeing the Imperium being turned into what it is.
Yeah, it would be a similar level of retribution done to the corruption as well.
Yeah.
Completely wipe out a lot of shit.
Yokai says, did this author ever have a conversation that isn't awkward?
Probably not.
Probably not. Alright, so let's go ahead and carry on, shall we?
Alrighty.
You're not thinking of doing anything foolish, are you, Padawan?
Representative, I'm insulted.
Get ready for the mic drop of irony.
Padawan?
Don't go pulling rank on me. I don't know about you, but I am through with hiding. Through with waiting to be shot. That's one of the energy field generators, right? Kraton isn't going to like this, is she?
You.
Not in the slightest. You destroyed your own fucking
You
shield generator.
stupid bitch!
Also, that's an energy field generator as well. That is what the shield generators now look like. That can cover a bar.
That small?
Yeah!
What?
Yeah! Yes.
Bullshit! Shield, they're not that small. What? Okay. So, the shield generators that we see in later works, further down the timeline than this is supposed to be earlier in the timeline,
Yes.
to that are used to conduct around building-sized apertures, are huge. Like, they're bigger than, like, 2 or 3 washing machines, like, welded together. They're not like a little fire hydrant thing. They're not that big. Well, sorry, they're not that small. Is that the only conductor? Tell me there's at least like 4 or 5 more.
Well, she does say that there's multiple, so... But
I
still...
can believe like 4 to 5 of those all surrounding the perimeter could produce one if they're tangential to each other. But one of those should not be enough to create that big or strong of a field. If it's under that much regular fire, shields, especially energy shields, ray shields are a different topic altogether. But energy shields, as far as they go in this universe, they have a limited capacity, just like Star Trek shields, or just like Stargate level technology and stuff. Any other sci-fi universe, like all of them, there's a limit to how much abuse they can take.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we're talking about a bunch of smaller individual ones like that, as far as I know from the canon, that means the shield overall would be a lot weaker, and each of the generators would act as kind of like a single panel. So if you focused fire on just where one of them is conducting the shield, the whole shield will go down once that one side has been abused enough, because that one energy field conductor would get overloaded and break. So if all 5 of these have held out so long, either these droids are so dumb that they're not concentrating fire on where one of the conductors is conducting, or the more aptly, Kevin Scott doesn't know his own lore.
Yeah. And also, there's so many things that are wrong with this one thing. First of all, everything that you've said. Second of all, she could have just let them take the shield down, and then she could go fight them, and not, speed up the process by cutting it herself.
I mean, couldn't they just turn it off, too?
Thirdly, they could have just turned it off. Fourthly, and as someone else, Dragonus Wolford, pointed out, also hacking that thing would just make a huge explosion that would kill both of them directly. That too!
Yes, because the energy being conducted in it would cause it to detonate if it was just suddenly slashed, because the energy would have nowhere else to properly be conducted.
Yes. Kevin Scott really outdid himself with this one.
I don't know if I could... At this point, I also got to put a little bit of the blame on the committee involved in this.
Yeah.
So many people could have said at any point, hey, have we looked at any other examples of the shield generation in this universe? Do they all work? Like, none of them work like this. Like, it could have just taken one person to go, hey, it's kind of dumb for her to slash it.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't she just press a button and turn it off? That way it could be reused if her dumbass plan goes south. Instead, if she fucks up after destroying the shield, everybody else is dead.
Yeah.
They have no cover fire after that. This is stupid as shit.
Asmogan says there are 5 fucking editors, 5, and a second writer. Yokai says 5 mistakes in 1 panel. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, 5 useless editors. Emphasis on that. Jesus.
Let's carry on.
Yeah.
Zing.
There goes the shield. Yep.
Yeah. Yep, and with it, any excuse we have to cower in a corner.
Ah.
Also, you know what? I actually now have a question. Are Jedi able to use their force powers through energy shields?
Yes. We see actually numerous examples of it.
She could have used the force to crush the droids while still behind the energy shield then.
Yes. If she is strong enough in the Force. That is something to be fair about, is not a lot of Jedi, especially Padawans, as they're still learning that much of concentration and control. A Sith apprentice absolutely could just be crushing these droids in like grips as it goes on, because it's just channeling that raw dark side energy. But a Padawan, this is where like the whole Jedi versus Sith thing comes into play. Padawans / Jedi Masters, the method in which they utilize the Force gives them a disadvantage in its actual application, in the sense of combat, because it's such a peaceful, it's such a content. They allow the Force to flow through them. They're not conducting it. Whereas a Sith, they're conducting it. They're controlling it. The Force is a force to be used.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I can believe she wouldn't have the wherewithal or training to be able to utilize it in such a way without falling into aggression into the dark side. But these Jedi have also shown their emotions ad nauseum.
Yeah.
In this era. So it's not like the normal reason why a Jedi would be limited in such a capacity, which is limiting their emotive effect. It's not like that's an excuse here. They just let their emotions run rampant.
I would also point out that there are other force powers that she could have used, like good old-fashioned force push, and maybe just push them into a wall or something. Something like that should actually be easier for a Padawan to learn, rather than...
Oh yeah,
pushing.
like a force push, she absolutely... And the thing is, if I had to rewrite the scene but still keep in the stupidity of her taking down the shield, what I would do is have her put down a lightsaber, have a moment, like I would take a whole page to do this, show her concentrating and channeling her energy in the Force, conducting it, and then very dramatic way I would display it, but her then bursting forth a force push that would at the very least stagger all of these battle droids. And then she would slice it, and taking advantage of their moment of stunning, then slash through them. That absolutely could play out in her favor. And by the looks of it on this panel, with her slicing this particular droid in half that easily, it's not like they're protected by some kind of energy shield individually as well. These droids are just like any droid. They're completely easy to take apart and slash with a lightsaber. So she, with the reflexes and speed that an experienced Padawan, especially one during wartime, would have, she could very easily stun them and slice through all of them before they'd have time to react, even with a droid's reaction time.
Yeah. Uro says she must die. Someone this stupid has to die. Dragon says, if it's able to power a field for a huge shield by itself, it should just take the whole bar down. That too. Yeah. Dragoness also asks, why is a Padawan this old, by the way?
How old is she in the writing? Because that's the thing.
It doesn't actually establish how old she is, so...
Okay. Well, assuming, if we go based on how she's drawn, she appears to be an adult. So, she's either a Padawan that has not attained mastery, or been allowed through the trials to become one, which at her age would be strange, considering... Even Obi-Wan, he was considered an older Padawan himself by the time he took his training, his mastery trials. But he was still, if I recall correctly in the lore, he was like 17 or 18 when he took the trials for mastery and became Anakin's master. I could be wrong. But he was considered older. Most Padawans take the trials by the time they're, I want to say, 15, 16 at the oldest. That's like the average.
Oro says, you two are making sense. Why are any of us trying to make sense of this comic? Because it's Star Wars.
And pointing out its fuckery hopefully will lead to someone, at the very least in the fan comic sense, making something better.
Yeah. Yokai says, or is she a Padawan for that long because she can't use the Force?
I mean, I wouldn't surprise me.
Anyways, let's go ahead and carry on. Alright, so it looks like you're up.
Oh, did you do the for the Force line?
Oh, right. You're right. My bad. For the Force.
For the unity!
For Jeddah.
Force is with me, the Force is with me.
Where is the Force?
Stop.
What?
Do you want to see it, Yana? The power we wield. The creature wants to feed. Wants to feed, but cannot. Not until we give the order.
Kind of like a sheepdog.
Huh?
Kind of like a sheepdog.
This is how the Force will be free. Through the Mother's schemes, through the path, the true path.
That's great, but we don't have to kill this one, do we? We don't need more blood on our hands.
You wish to show mercy. That is admirable. I can see why my daughter loved you. But I am not my daughter. There can be no witnesses. Let the light have its fill. No, not Vildar. Not today.
Again, he shouldn't be able to conduct unless he's Force sensitive. I'm not gonna shit on it too much right now. It'll depend on if they reveal that, like, oh, this whole time he was actually Force sensitive and never got picked up by the Jedi or the Sith. Okay, but if that doesn't end up being the case, this is absolute bullshit. Being corrupted by the dark side, that can happen to anyone for sure. But again, it doesn't magically give you the ability to do shit like this.
No! I could really get used to this.
I wouldn't.
That.
You got to be kidding me. Okay, what? Okay, hold on. So he's got this like evil, malicious looking at the gauntlet shit, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's just like it's literally a dodge this moment from the Matrix. It's just bow. Okay. Hey.
Check the creature. Thuk.
Hey. Wait, is he actually dead? Oh my god. If he is, it's even funnier.
He saved me. And you killed him. Killed him because I did nothing.
Yeah, you were a useless sack of shit.
He merely delayed the inevitable. The
Force.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, that is your line.
Okay, that is my line. Okay.
The Force is with me. I am one with the Force.
No!
Oh, you... Okay.
No!
Why? Okay, let me rip into this after we get through this page.
The Force is with me. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. I am one with the Force. The Force has abandoned me.
That was quick. Okay, yeah, okay. First of all, the good. There is one good element of this, but it's ruined by everything else. I can believe a Jedi falling to his emotions and corruption and fear would grab onto a Sith artifact and then use it like this. And that would have made way more sense than Tay using it. Because again, assuming he's not force sensitive, like I'm pretty sure he's not. He should not be able to make force lightning. He should not be able to conduct the force in any fashion, even with kyber crystal conductors, even with some Sith artifact charged with mystical power. You simply, if you don't have the force, you can't use force artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
A Jedi can, and a Jedi can fall to the dark side using one. It's happened. That's where the good shit ends, because it's ruined by the fact that Tay used it already and went rogue. It's ruined by the fact that this motherfucker sat by while all that shit happened. It's ruined by the fact that Tay was just shot, just like that, just so easily dispatched with a single blaster shot, so that he could get his hands on it. It's so stupid. Like, this feels so unearned, so ill-prepared and set up. It's just like, oh, Tay had it. Now he doesn't because he got shot because he was an idiot. Now he's got it. What?
Yeah.
The hell with the Force and a line like that from a Jedi Master.
I'm going to have to let V know that this is a panel in the comic, and this is a Jedi Master saying this.
Oh my god. This is so bad. And the thing is, if he was corrupted to the dark side, he wouldn't even be saying that. To hell with the Force? If he was corrupted into dark side, he wouldn't say that. He'd say, the Force is mine! Or I control the Force! Or something like that. Some kind of showcase of domination of the Force. A feeling of its control, of you being the influence as opposed to the Force being the influence.
Or he would say something like, unlimited power.
Or like that, yeah. That would be at least funny, somewhat, reference to the prequels. This is just a stupid line all the way around. To hell with the Force. Because he's using the Force through that gauntlet.
Yokai says, I think this isn't a Force artifact. I think this is literally an Eldar artifact that somehow appeared on the Star Wars universe.
Would go along with the whole Slaneshi vibe.
Yeah. Adam says to both Asmogan and myself, I was talking about Mickey. If it was in fusion with the dark side, it would pull any Darksiders to it. Remember the Dark Horse comics did Vector Prime was about item of the dark side? Okay.
Correct. He is actually 100% right. That is actually something kind of unique about dark side artifacts. And at least as far as I know, light side artifacts, holocrons, etc., don't really pull people to them, dark side or light side. They're far. This is where the expressions of the dark side and the light side are very much in the lore. Light side is passive. It's neutral. Doesn't have like a drawing element to it, whereas dark side is corruptive. It's corrosive, and it will draw darksiders to it. So hiding our dark side artifacts is not practical if a dark side user is anywhere near it, because if you're at all connected to the dark side, it'll draw you to it. So even if you hide it in a crypt, on a tomb, deep in a planet, if a darksider is anywhere near it and the artifact has any kind of real power to it, it'll draw them to it. So he is right about that.
Yeah.
They act as beacons.
So that's yet another plot hole to this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm morbidly curious to see what the... okay, so... So Vildar Mac isn't actually a Jedi Master, he's a Jedi Knight, technically, this says.
Okay, so if he's a knight, then I can believe him falling this... Well, this quickly still feels like a Padawan level fall. Like, it's just... He believed in the Force, and at least as far as I've seen, maybe you've seen throughout the other issues, more of a fall towards it. And certainly with lines like, everyone's allowed a bad day, and shit like that, excusing very un-Jedi-like actions. Maybe all that was supposed to be building up to his, like, fall.
Actually, Actually, I have to double check it. He might still be a Jedi Master. I think it's a case of Cavan Scott doesn't know the hell anything about the lore. So I'm going to double check because I'm pretty sure I'm going to double check and make sure that he is just a knight and not a... Okay, it does say a knight.
Okay, so if he's a knight, he's not a master. There is a distinction between the two.
Yes.
If you're... Because the ranks go youngling, Padawan, and then from Padawan you get like specializations. Like you could be a knight, which are usually focused on outward warriors of the order. They're typically also martially focused.
Mm-hmm.
From there, there's also the Temple Guard, who I think are on the same level. Maybe they have more authority actually in temples and the like, but they are their own discipline next to knights. And then there's consulars or healers, the more mystical, specialized members of the Jedi Order. Those are the three equal ranked, roughly, specializations amongst knights. And then you go to Master. And from Master, Council Member. Because not all Masters are part of the Jedi Council. They're simply recognized as being elite members of their order, to the point where they also specialize in training new Padawans to become knights or temple guards or healers/consulars.
It's also worth noting that technically speaking, not all council members are masters either.
Correct. Yeah, several of the council members, if I recall correctly, some are knights, and a few are consulars. So you have representatives of the disciplines there. Most of the members, though, I think are still masters. And then, of course, you have the Grand Master who leads the council.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But getting back to this, though. Thoughts on this particular comic book, these two issues?
Urus does have a good point as well. Consulars are also diplomats. That is correct. They're the knights are the actual armed arm of the Jedi Order. Like, they're their actual soldiery, if you want to put it that way, although they wouldn't put it that way. They're their actual warriors. Temple Guard, they're more stationary. They're like knights, they are martial focused, but again, it's on the defensive and protecting their temples and their homes and specific places. And then, of course, consulars, he's right. They're the diplomats, they're the healers, they're the more mystically focused part of the order. They, like all three specializations, obviously have to have a level of lightsaber training and combat, but the consulars would be the ones in battle using force abilities mixed in a lot more with their combat, because that'd be what they're more specialized for.
Alright, so I think let's now go ahead and move on to the comic itself and your thoughts on these two issues.
Yes, both were shit.
Agreed! Both of these were pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's just... With issue 8, if we're going to go in order of the issues, issue 8 was... How do I put this? Confusing and all over the place. It's just, tonally, it was bullshit. Like, it has all the tropes in Marvel movies that I hate, and they're carried over here, and it's Marvel Comics, so that shouldn't be surprising. I mean, just no moment that earned a level of seriousness was actually allowed it. Like, a Jedi Knight, Master or not, a Jedi Knight, standing on the edge of a cliff, by the looks of it, looking at a Jedi statue, a symbol of the Order and its prominence, crashed to the ground, destroyed. It would be like how it would be just like how the Jedi felt when how a Jedi would feel going to the ruins of the temple on Coruscant. It's just supposed to be this ominous, haunting, horrifying view. It's supposed to be grandiose, and the atmosphere of it should be imposing, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So, But this does the same shit that they've been doing since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 was successful in theaters. Just this irreverent, dumb-ass humor has to always be there, and it's never allowed to have a moment like that breathe. So Tay had to say some dumb shit and make that whole panel feel like nothing. And it carries on in other scenes where it should have a level of seriousness with him. But even aside from that, the overall writing is also incredibly jarring. Like, the pheromones thing only being mentioned, like, once before, but credit to where it's credit to. At least it was established before. But then you also have this convenient escape tunnel in the back of the bar, just there. And it's not even hidden, but they make it out to be like, oh, you know, you shouldn't have, as an employee, you know, you shouldn't have shown that to anybody. It's like, anyone who would have accidentally brushed aside that it wasn't even a door, that shade, would have seen the entrance. It wasn't blocked or obscured or anything.
You could, if this was a bar, you could have had just someone accidentally who was drunk stumble into the curtain, knock it down, and expose it that way.
Yeah, it's just convenience after convenience after convenience, and then the major convenience. And was it in issue 8 or was it in issue 9 when they found the gauntlet? Oh, let me skip it. Okay, they didn't find the gauntlet in issue 8, so that's an issue 9 thing. But yeah, that carries over though. Like that convenience of finding the gauntlet in issue 9, that was so stupid. Just the way it was just there. And then also add on it the complete rape of the lore with a non-force user. Again, assuming they don't reveal Tay as a latent force user who never got trained. And to be quite frank, if that was revealed in issue 10, I'd be pissed. I think anyone would be. It's like, just, it would feel like at that point an excuse so why he could do it. Yeah. It wouldn't have felt like something that they established, because as far you've read it more thoroughly with other people, have they at any point hinted at force sensitivity with him?
The only thing I know is he was a member of one of the religious orders at one point, but I'm not sure if it was established that that particular religious order was made up exclusively of force users.
So yeah, that might serve as it, but if that's it, that's still so little. But if we still run under the assumption he's not force sensitive, using a force latent artifact, that just goes against everything. You cannot. First of all, think about how lore breaking that is. Individuals in this setting, if you were a non-force user, and suddenly you could use the force, if you just had the right artifact, with the right imbuements, with the right kyber crystal, with the right whatever the fuck. If it's just down, if the barrier between force sensitivity and using the force and being a normal person who cannot is simply down to your actual usage, if the only barrier is whether you have the right tool or not, what makes Jedi so unique or special? What makes Sith so unique or special? What makes any force sensitive individual in the setting unique or notable?
All right, so here's what the Guardian of the Wills believes in the lore. It from Wikipedia says, and I quote, "Coming to believe that the Force needed to be freed and that using its power in any way was wrong."
Is that what this Alex Jones guy believes?
That's what Tay Sarek believed. Also, face Alex Jones, I think. Or let me double check.
Okay. That is so dumb.
Wait, no, okay, so that was the Call of the Open Hand, okay. So this guy was originally part of the Path of Wills, but became part of but founded the Path of the Open Hand, okay. So they didn't actually quite believe that using the Force was bad. Only the Path of the Open Hand did. And these are the guys that are actively trying to kill the Jedi.
Okay. So what? So okay. So the cult of whatever aside, super dumb. The thing is, I okay, I do gotta tackle that. That's just so dumb. The belief of the use of the Force is wrong. The Force is literally everything. It's existence, it's life, it's breath. That is how it's what ties all living things together. It's an invisible energy. By breathing, you're technically utilizing the Force. By thinking and moving and living your life, you are expressing the Force. That is how it was described before the midichlorians bullshit. So, the idea of not using the Force is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And Cave and Scott or whoever came up with that out of the committee of writers and editors, you're a fucking moron. That is so dumb. There's literally no way you can't use the Force. Now, if they mean using it in a conductive way like the Jedi and Sith, they still gotta put it in a different wording, like the usage of the Force is wrong. Okay.
It also
You're using
is hilarious that members of the Path of the Open Hand have been established in the comic to beg Jedi to, when a building was collapsing on them, to hold up the building using Force powers. So
they don't even practice what they preach.
Yeah.
If I thought Kevin Scott was smart at all, I would say that was supposed to be some kind of commentary of hypocrisy in religion. But to be quite frank, I think that's just bad writing.
I mean, Kevin Scott has tried to put commentary in this, but I don't think it's exactly gone the way he's wanted.
No. Oh, God. And also, like, all that stuff aside, there's also further inconsistencies with the setting, with the Jedi being so emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just in these two issues alone, they've been, like, you had a full-blown Jedi Knight crippled by fear onto his knees to become useless. And they showed no effort on his part to meditate or to try and stave off the dark side corruption.
Technically, you could also say Jedi Master Lee Bon was kind of in the same way, and that's a Jedi Master.
Yeah, and he broke down in fear like a child. Like a true Jedi Master would have been well beyond such things by that point. You don't become a master and still be like a shriveling little child. He would have faced his death with dignity. If he truly could not do anything about it, he would have embraced the Force. Now, not all of them become Force ghosts or do the Obi-Wan thing where they turn into nothing, but he would have not broken down like that. He would have meditated and accepted his fate if he truly couldn't do anything about it. But he could have, by the way. Like, there was no attempt to force push that monster away from him. There was no usage of the Force there to defend himself. He just let himself die. Now, if they showed that the creature was completely immune to Force anything, like Force influence, to Force push, then I could accept him just, like, dying and maybe even be surprised by it, by the lack of effect. But to break down in fear, beg for his life, that's the Jedi you don't, like, a Padawan doing that would be acceptable because they're just so naive. But the way Jedi view death and the Force, like, when you die, you're not gone. You become one with the Force. It's not that they welcome death like a Viking would or anything, but they don't see it as the end. They see it as you are now just becoming one with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not fear in death. There's regret in not being able to do more beforehand. That's it. Like, it's just this is not Star Wars.
Exactly.
Even when we look at the portrayal of the dark side here, as I said before, it feels like chaos from Warhammer. It doesn't feel like a malignant, pure dark force of emotion. It literally looks like Cthulhu shit. That's not how the dark side was ever portrayed. It's not. That's not how it works. And it's just none of this felt like Star Wars. Had they not used terms like Padawan, Jedi, Master, Jedi Knight, had they not used lightsabers, I'd say you'd be hard pressed to call this anything like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree with you on that. Yeah, wholeheartedly. So, taking into consideration the other stuff Star Wars related from the High Republic, where would you rate this? Would you say this is as bad as the other original High Republic series or High Republic Adventures, or?
That is really hard to say this is as bad.
But it is making it a much tougher contest. That is for sure. With the to hell with the Force bit here, I'd say is the way they set that up is pretty goddamn atrocious.
I would say it is as bad if you want me to give a reflexive answer, but to give a slightly more complex one, in some ways it's worse, and in some it's slightly better.
I think that's alright. So, it's as bad as High Republic 2020?
Yeah, I'd say just reflexively, it's bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's as bad.
Makes sense. It's the same writer after all.
And just as many inconsistencies, a complete misunderstanding of the Force and how it works, canon breaking bullshit left and right. And we're not even talking like EU stuff. We're talking how the movies established it, that they still say are canon. It's just everything about this is just so not Star Wars.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I pretty much agree with everything you've said here, so I think we're at a good point to go ahead and call it.
Alrighty.
At least next week we won't have to deal with more High Republic. Well,
That's good.
Not this High Republic. We might do the one that's actually showing promise.
The Blade one?
No, the Blade one's already actually finished. The other one that was made by the guy that made Will of Iron.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think now's a good time to go ahead and call it. Unless you have anything else you'd like to add.
Nope. I talked everybody's ear off already.
All right. Well, once again, it's been a pleasure having you on, Asmogan, even though the comic itself was, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate having me on. It was nice.
And everyone else, of course, this has been Ace.
And Asmogan.
And we both hope to see you all again soon. Until then, take care. Ace out.